A little bit later than usual, but here we are. Oh, yep. I said I needed to change the weekly matchups. I will do that before I forget. Okay. That's the best way to do this. Straight, have you played, Shoes much? Or J-Dog, if you know their old stuff? Are they good matches, or are they a bit one-sided? Do you remember at all? Okay. I will change this up then. I think this ends up being better matches overall for everybody. What? And why did that break everything? Okay. We should be good then. Got that going. Oh, it's already 7. I love starting late. Don't plug my phone in because it'll make the funny noise because I never mute it. Okay. So I'll wait just another minute or two while I'm trying to make sure everything is together. Ruby's being a goober. And even because we started late, technically we haven't started yet. Yada yada yada, audio check, whatever. Tell me if I need to adjust things, please. Today's gonna be a little bit of a mess, so getting it out of the way at the start would be a lot better. But yeah, I mean, might as well. Oh, I probably need to a lobby link in the chat, don't I? Might help a little bit. Let's get that pinned. Get rid of the old pins. Greetings. But yeah, on that note, I think I'll ping our first matchup. It is an open lobby. Beginner open lobby specifically. Yeah. Middle beginner-ish open lobby, so if any of y'all feel comfortable. What is with you and polystyrene, Mara? Is that a... synthetic polymer? What? Is it literally just styrofoam? Or is it a specific type of styrofoam? Is styrofoam too broad? All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Okay, styrofoam is a trademark of a type of polystyrene. Chemistry. Oh, we'll give them like 3 more minutes, and if they're not here, we'll keep on moving. So I'll try and do this in a somewhat timely manner. I am also unfortunately on a timer because I gotta be able to be available to host CC&D after this. So gotta keep on keeping on. Yummy styrofoam. Wait, did I ever start the... Okay, I did start the YouTube stream. I was about to be really upset with myself for a second. Yeah, okay, that's live. Good. Yeah, so Blade Dasher dropped out and Shoes hopped in, so I ended up changing up the matchups a little bit. I also swapped kind of a couple people around because I think it might end up being a better matchup for both to gain something. Hopefully I did it right. If not, oops. Trying my best. That's all I can say. Oy. Yeah, they'll get 1 more minute and then we'll just hop on to the next match, I think. Alright. Fortunately, neither are a show. I'll cross those out and get our next matchup up. Keep on keeping on. We got Entry versus Nerif. I think both y'all are in here, but I'll ping you anyway. Man. Alright. They're here, they'll just be here in a sec, so we got a minute. Make sure I remember exactly what y'all are wanting looked at, if there was anything in particular. Just let me sit like I want to, man. I don't want to be healthy. But stretching feels good. I need to work on sitting properly. I've definitely got those bad posture marks on my stomach. Alright, so get both people in here. Yeah, I'll try and tell you what I can about Dahlia. I am also somewhat unfamiliar. I didn't play as her or against her all that much. But I'll do what I can. Alright, not looking like anything specific, so general advice. What do y'all? Cat, Dahlia, Bella. Oh, unfortunate drop. Yeah, actually, no, you're right to press there. You have the fastest button out of all of you. I'm so used to telling people not to press there. We gotta manage our hunger, though. This is danger. And I don't know if we realize it. So for you, Entry, Fortune needs to change her out slightly to stabilize on happy birthdays, especially with size differences as large as this. For doing your routing, try to cancel your stand heavy kick after the second hit and not the third, because the second hit will vacuum them in and make it a lot easier for you to hit both of them with fiber. It's a small adjustment that needs to be made, but it's a very important. Pressing in the brass. Kill. Gotta manage our hunger. There it is. Not bleeping in brass. That. Okay. Oh, unfortunate drop. I don't know if that's what we wanted. Hitting the assist is good. You do need to make sure you keep yourself safe while doing it. So I like the idea. in execution, you probably don't want to extend as far onto the assist as you just did. Get incoming, drop the conversion. That drops. Okay. While Gato is neutral on block, there are ways people can play around it. So start tempering your block strings. Instead of extending through heavies all the way into specials, I would recommend trying to stop on a medium. Fortune's mediums aren't great. You can also do stuff like jab jab 2LK and use that as your hit confirm for Fortune. Because we are extending pretty far on block. Yeah, and like Mara's saying, if you want to keep yourself safe while hitting an opponent's assist, especially right in front of them, use whatever your launcher is, and you can actually jump cancel on block because you are hitting... you hit the launcher on the assist. So you can kind of extend. And usually what people end up doing is launch the assist and go into immediate pressure, or just back off and block. It's a way to keep yourself safe. Oh, the punish, but they are starving. Pressure. Oh, drop. I can appreciate the bravery of pressing there. I really want to see you focus more on just push blocking a little bit more. Trying to get her off of you more rather than fighting with some of the worst buttons in the game when you're starving. Rav, it makes a lot more sense. We kept them both in. Meter dump. Level 3. Okay, yeah, this still works. I think you could have afforded to just spend it all. Especially because I think you can do level 3 into Dynamo at that range. I could be wrong about that. Yeah. Good punish on the brass. But then, yeah, so for Nerf, if we're going to be doing brass as a neutral, I would highly recommend doing the spaced brass. So you pick and choose which brass you're going to use between L and M based on your spacing, so you make it awkward enough to punish. L is the shortest, but it comes out really quickly, and it's kind of hard to punish even though... Well, it's hard to stuff even though it has no armor, and then it's incredibly hard to punish because it's only -6, so a lot of the cast ends up not being able to punish it, especially when it's spaced. M-Brass, I forget exactly how much more minus it is, but if you do it at a reasonable spacing, it comes up fast enough for the one hit of armor to still be enough. And then, yeah, you don't get much reward off of it, but you kind of tell them to stop doing whatever they're doing. It's a heavy punch. Yep. If we do a route like that, it is going to change our stage in IPS. Beat extend. Pick up. Oh, not quite the full confirm. Raw brass. Entry goes to counter. Yeah. Dahlia trap does not go away on hit. Respect it. Okay. Looks like we're really trying to use armor to get through the Dahlia zoning. It can work, but she can also keep herself usually pretty safe. Your best bet is honestly trying to get above her or even with her and just run her into a corner. I'm not sure which locker mode we chose. I mean, that had to have been light with no armor. I would not recommend doing that. If you're looking to try and keep yourself safe on block for overextending, a good habit to get yourself into is actually just run stop. And the better you can get at run stopping, usually the more, honestly, plus frames you kind of end up getting. That is your go-to bail special, for the most part. Managing hunger on Umbi, it's easy to just accidentally mess up. But you recognize it, so you have it on the back of your head the next time stuff happens. Oh, I'm not gonna confirm. We are constantly avoiding the heavy kick, the cross up from Umbi, but most of the time what seems to end up happening is you jump and you try and air dash to punish it, and that's not gonna work. You kind of do need to stay on the ground to punish it. It's really finicky to punish. What was this? Strange route. Yeah. Raw tagging is usually discouraged for this exact reason. Most of the time, it's reactively punishable, and then you just lose a little bit of life on that character, and they can always kind of just snap in the other one. Good tech. Looks like for entry, we're struggling to deal with brats. Overextending a little bit. Ice Shot is a good way to deal with it. Ice Shot will smoke armored assists. Oh no! Unfortunate. Yeah. Good mix. Entry once again. Slightly overextending, dealing with brass. Punish this. Get the corner carry. Unfortunate drop. I don't know if you had planned to do this. If you get a hit like that, similar to what Nerif did, I would recommend snapping and the character they tried to tag out to save. In that specific case, because you were close to the corner, I would argue it's worth spending the Endizzy to get the corner carry and then snap so they have to deal with a corner incoming. So, things to be thinking about when you get the hit. Just keeping in mind where your stage position is, all that whole ordeal.
Looks like I found a new scratching pose. It all depends on your skill. Action.
Oh, yeah, she's small. That's really gonna be hard to work. But I don't know if you wanted that to actually connect or not. Oh, yeah. And so again, what I was talking about by doing stand heavy kick times 2. You had the right idea. Unfortunate drop. It's a little bit late to get taunt there. You didn't get checked for it. Once again, very much using brass. A little bit of spaghetti. You want to stick on her. Again, there is a situation where you'd rather use run stop than any of your other specials. She's back in Rav. What is a hit grab? Hello, level 3. Oh no, messed up the input afterwards. Tried to press. I'm pretty sure that button is minus. So it is not your turn to extend afterwards. But yeah, that's 5. So I think most of my tips end up being for entry. And a lot of it feels like a chunk of it is routing. So doing, like, actually converting on your happy birthday hits especially. And then overextending. Oh, both of you actually had some issues with overextending on block. But yeah, so for entry, for fortune, you would definitely go all the way into cat scratches. If you do 8 scratch, the only way to make yourself neutral is Gato, and it seemed like you knew that. If you want to go into a cancel or a special to cancel, if you're close enough, I would recommend L scratch. Just doing 1, it leaves you neutral and relatively close to them if they don't push block you out. Other than that, as mentioned previously, I would also recommend just not committing to the heavy as your hit confirm. There's a small exception if you're trying to do routes with 2 LK 5 heavy punch, but I don't think you are, so not super important. Bella, we saw a similar thing. It's just Bella doesn't have great specials to cancel into, and so you would try to do like Reflector. Again, run stop is your go-to there, and sometimes I think in some cases you even get plus frames with perfect run stops. Obviously, all of this is subject to change with PB, like getting push blocked out or PBTC timings. But omitting any of that, generally, you'll keep yourself safe, possibly plus. Another thing to consider for Bella is your sweep on block is neutral. You don't need to run stop it. Run stopping it actually, I think, just leaves it neutral with a perfect run stop. So if you're going to extend to a heavy, or if you want to check a brass assist coming your way, which is something we saw a fair bit, if they're in, like, if you force them to block something and you see the brass is coming, you can go, oh, I'm gonna sweep with Bella because it reaches really far and will beat out the brass if you time it right. As well as just keeps you neutral on block. Trying to... Oh yeah, and so the Dahlia we didn't get to see all that much. You would go into specials. Your shot, your point blank shot is like -1 or -2, depending on, like, for default ammo. I don't know how it changes with other ammos. So yeah, work on thinking about just stopping at a medium. Obviously, pressure gets much more in depth than that, like with calling assists, etc. But for baseline rule of thumb, like thinking about your character in a solo instance, usually you don't want to go past a medium, and also understanding which mediums are plus or minus for your characters kind of helps you understand whether it's your turn. Most of the time, you'll be minus, and it won't be your turn if you cut yourself off like that. But yeah, and then so for dealing with brass, especially as Dahlia, you seemed to have your game plan for zoning, and you weren't considering what your opponent can do against it. And they had brass. So if you're not going to consider how brass makes you change your game, you're going to eat a bunch of armored fists to the face, which is kind of what we saw. It involves being a lot more patient. So you kind of need to understand I can't commit to a lot slower options. Jump heavy kick is probably fine, but it's still a little bit sketchy. Going into your air shots afterwards is basically going to be a no-go. I would recommend trying to bait out the brass call and then call your Bella assist afterwards, because I'm pretty sure you were running lock and load, unless I'm crazy, to counter call. So the brass, you block the brass hits nothing but your block, while your assist behind you is coming in and starting up, and then it will come in, deal 1,000 damage to the band. I think it ends up being 1,500. Like, assists take extra damage is what I'm saying. So you'll force their assist to take a lot more damage, and then because their assist got hit, it will be put on a longer lockdown, which is incredibly important. You can use that time to, it's counter calling is a very good habit to get into. Okay, and then so for Nerif, I think the biggest thing I saw was hunger management. I did like that you weren't cashing out all of your hits and just going into, what's the mode called? Overstuffed. It's a trap a lot of umbies fall into, just spending all the resources. Staying in Rav is, as far as I understand, the best way to go, as long as you need to play the character again. If you're going into overstuffed to get the extra damage, especially if you don't have your level 3 available, and it'll kill the character, and killing that character will win you the game, or it gets rid of, if you're killing them and forcing them to go to an anchor, it's probably worth it. Only commit to that if you think it's going to win you the game, either directly or in a couple of interactions later. So that's the way I understand Umbrella Hunger. You were doing that really well. You were starting to run yourself into starving a bit too much. You ended up getting bailed out a couple of times, but you definitely had to sit there and just hold whatever they were doing, because starving buttons are painful. So avoiding that at all costs is, and recognizing when you're getting close or after it's happened. There were a couple times I think you didn't necessarily notice you were starving, and then you would go in. Just always keeping an eye on your resources, not just hunger, but meter, health. Getting used to checking that mid combo in areas of the combo where you're sure it won't drop. That whole shebang. Finding times to gather information. And the more you look for it, the more natural it will come, and then all of a sudden you don't have to think about keeping track of what resources you and your opponent have. Yeah. And then I think my biggest thing for band is try not to rely on brass too much. It was working for you here, and I don't know if you were just sending it because you knew it would work, and because it had been shown that it would work. So I'm not going to get super upset about it, but if your neutral becomes entirely reliant on brass, you leave yourself liable to just die to better prepared players. Hey, hitting it in game is the first step. It doesn't matter who it's on. If it's easy, if it's hard. Progress is progress. That was a very solid square root setup. But yeah, I think that's all that was on my mind. Let me know if y'all have any questions right now. Otherwise, I think I'll be moving on to the next group of gamers. We got it straight. All right. Hey, and if other questions come up, I mean, just ping me or ask in general in the server. I or someone else who knows will probably just give you an answer. The people in the server are usually very willing to help, so if you got a question, just shoot it. No pressure.
What's holding you together? I'm ready to pounce.
I believe that team can work. Neutral will be awkward. I can talk about it later. I want to give these guys their time in the... Yeah, okay. Oh, we were out of the corner and then, Shoes, you jumped yourself back in. Delayed the air dash a little bit too much. Very patient on both sides. Yep, so just like I was talking to Entry, highly recommend getting used to canceling your stand heavy kick on the second hit. It will vacuum people in and prevent weird scenarios like that from not working. It also makes your happy birthday combos a lot more consistent for the same reason. I think it ends up being more damage as well, but just automatically canceling on the second hit. Fortune routes are a little bit weird that way. Good punish. Oh, no confirm afterwards. I'll tag. Throw and wake up. Get her in here. Kill. Take the corner back. I think you're... When you have them boxed in the corner, you might honestly be showing them a little bit too much respect, and I think this does go back to your inclination to up back first. When you're at your 6 heavy punch range for the most part in the corner, especially if you have an assist to call, you can call the assist and force them to hold high-low with 6 heavy punch or 2 medium kick. You can honestly do 2 medium kick into 6 heavy punch a lot of the time, and catch people out. You always have crescent afterwards, and people trying to up forward can also often get caught by the 6 heavy punch. Up backing the way you are is giving them space to fight their way out of the corner more than I would argue Annie needs to let them. So you can more aggressively hold your space. Good blocks. I'm curious what we pressed there. Yeah. This is a little excessive, but I mean, it secures the game. Time was gonna do it anyway. Yeah. And the shorthand for the discussion on that team, while we have a little bit of downtime, is I know people argue Umbrella and Painwheel both really dislike being point. So I would consider running that team with Parasol points. I don't know who I'd rather put mid, because Painwheel gives you really good 2-touches, but having Umbrella mid lets you DHC into immediately setting up Ravenous, which is kind of exactly where Umbi wants to be. So that's a bit of a tough choice. It's a little bit awkward to work around, but things to consider. Rippy? In case you were unaware, Straight, throw, if you input L fiber in the corner, is universal for throw confirm. It also works on Big Band and Bayo mid-screen. So it's a much easier throw confirm than her other ones. What a button! Mess up the next. We are like neutral, just being a gnat. A thing to consider with how much red health the Valentine had, you have a safe DHC mid, you could have just full sent it with bypass scalpels, see, like check if you got the hit, either way go into Hatred install, and you have pressure afterwards. I'm pretty sure you're plus because of how scalpels ends up working. Alright, good bash. Oh! If we're doing this... I honestly would have rathered full Painwheel combo into DHC into Fortune at the end. Otherwise, I would have very much liked you to just do Beam. Or not Beam, Magnet Super, and get the combo. For you, Straight, if you're gonna punish Robo Beam, I would recommend you do it with Pillar of Creation. You had enough meter to do it. It's much more likely to catch them out and give you a conversion than Stinger is. Hex back into the corner. We gotta be going in. Oh! We gotta have those confirms. Yeah, I think the game's unwinnable now. Just don't, that's simply not enough time. Man. Keep an eye on the clock. Especially because you play Team Tyrone, even if you're not going in with the intent to time out, your team is a very, very strong runaway team. Well, it's not quite Tyrone. It's Pano instead of double, but point still stands. Two of your characters like playing very slow games. So getting used to always keeping track of the clock and understanding how much time you have to really just rob a game back, it's quite important. Because there we just needed to, like, ideally convert on that happy birthday combo. Otherwise it would have just been make sure you're in and resetting as often as possible. Go for a burst bait if you think they're gonna go for it. Trying to figure out how this cat keeps on getting so close to our Val. Val is in. You've shown cross up every time so far. Probably worth going same side on the next setup. That is unfortunate. Good push block. Yep, once again, you've gone cross-up on that setup every single time. I don't know if it's intentional or you are just so used to going cross-up there, but recognizing that is vitally important, and you'll probably start catching people a lot more by going same side. Oh! Angry! So we'll definitely not kill. Yeah. Overextended after the jump medium punch. Weren't ready for the cross up. It happens. I don't think we wanted that backdash. Pressing that sweet button a lot. Yep, get yourself out of the corner. You gotta bail. You gotta get away. But that's not quite it. We are landing way too close to this double. If you're gonna be doing stuff like that, do it while contesting. So it's like jump medium punch, jump heavy punch are really good things to be landing on people with. They also usually let you go into something else, so you can either opt to run away or like up forward jump medium punch again. You don't have time for this, shoes. It's, I think, straight new. So, always gotta be keeping an eye on the timer. And understanding how much time we need to do the damage we have to do. We've run ourselves into the corner. I think we wanted a jump medium kick. I'm surprised that ended up working. Maybe not. Push blocking that is hard. So, this Fortune is not afraid to run out your Val, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly would help you make that be better. And I think it's just contesting space with better buttons. Your jump medium kick is a really quick air-to-air. Your jump light punch is great for falling on people below you with. Your jump heavy kick just is a wall in the air. On the ground, your 2 LP kind of anti-airs sometimes. It's a bit finicky. It's a good scramble tool option. You have a reasonable low. And then 5 HP, 5 heavy punch is honestly pretty solid button. It's a relatively large commitment to use, but with assist behind it, you can shore yourself up pretty easily. And it covers a lot of space. It also leans you back, so you kind of just whiff punish people sometimes. dashing. Get thrown. I think you can fall with jump medium punch there. One thing I will say, Shoes, is this is somewhat matchup dependent, but I think overall you are just using too much H-Beam. H-Beam is a phenomenal assist. It's a really big commitment to do point. It deals with armor pretty well. Other than that, it's kind of whatever. So using L and M beams tend to be the way to go more often than not. Yeah. And then, yeah, just the prior point. One of Robo's greatest strengths is the fact that she can be an absolute nuisance. She can do, like, jump heavy punch, fire a beam, jump again, do another air beam, and then still land with another button. So, like, you force people to get through the zoning, and then you can just land on them with jump medium punch, jump medium kick, jump heavy punch. Honestly, jump light punch is also not that bad if you're a little bit lower to the ground. All of these are phenomenal options. So understand your zoning and what the gaps are, and know if they have enough time to punish you after the beam. If they don't, landing with the button usually really catches people. And even if it doesn't catch them, they're forced to block it, and then they either have to hold high-low if they opt to not push block you, or they push block you away, and then you're free to run because you're Robo. Yeah, so our Val runs away a lot, air dash forward. And yeah, it seems like most of the time we're just using air dash forward, jump medium punch to contest space, but it's more often than not just jump, possibly a double jump away, dead cross, and then kind of just run ourselves to the corner. Definitely think we can be more aggressive contesting space. Oh, don't push block that, that's a punish. None of the Rekkas, none of the cat scratches, third hit is safe. This is true also for slide. The one thing that is neutral on block is Gato, the overhead. Push block. So the beam super pushes you too far away for you to punish. If you push block, you stay in the same location. After 2 push blocks, you'll basically still be dead on her, and you'll get a counter hit afterwards. And then for you, straight, I would argue just leave the fortune to die there, because you're trading one character's life bar for another, and spending an extra bar for doing it. Yep, up back, wait, air dash forward with reaction. Or sometimes you don't air dash forward, but your neutral is very, very up back, and then figure out what to do afterwards. Oh, good press. Yep, there's the up back, there's the air dash, there's the up back, there's the air dash. There's the up back, there's the air dash. You can afford to stay on the ground more. I mean, we've had this discussion before. She has some pretty good buttons, and then, especially with assists, I haven't talked about this with you as much, but I mentioned it earlier. 6 heavy punch is a pretty reasonable tool. Layered behind assists, it's obnoxious to deal with. And it just goes far. Covers a big amount of distance. First, might have argued we want to just alpha counter there. We're not getting meter anyway, and then it lets us get the Robo out. Either way, we have very little time, and this game's going to be brutal. Honestly, I think the only way you win this is if straight calls an assist, unless you level 5 both of them. How do you fight back? Yeah. Game's over. We cannot commit to the zoning game plan with this much time left. I'm straight just recognizing the timer. Can understand wanting to avoid ship. Honestly, at that point, I literally just go. You literally cannot do enough damage to me. I am going to sit here and down back and win the game. But yeah, so yeah, there's that. I think a brief summary. I think you need to contest space a little bit more aggressively, Shoes, and this always kind of end up being a concept. I struggle with this up at my level. I run away a bit too much and then just run myself into a corner. There's a time and a place to run, but if that's the only thing you do, people are allowed to take a lot more space against you because it's not a risk to step forward and actually take the space you're giving. If you start holding your ground a little bit more with disjointed buttons or with just really quick buttons, so I already listed off others, and so this is something like Cloud is really good at doing, where it's like they're being annoying, they're being a gnat, and then all of a sudden they hold their ground and like slap you in the face and say, no, you can't do this. And the same is true for Robo, where it's like you can probably afford to land with buttons a bit more. You don't need to be all that much afraid. Yeah, that whole shebang. And I kind of went into it repeatedly for a lot of the games, so when you rewatch them, you'll hear more of that. I talked a little bit about, like, not necessarily team order decisions, but like DHing out or alpha countering out and trying to save your characters that way. Just where I would go thinking about the scenarios you were in. So just another way to look at the game if you want to keep doing what you're doing. It's on you. It's not that it's on you. Like that's your choice if you want to play that way. That's a way to play. Yeah. Spending meter aggressively in this game to keep characters safe is a game plan that's been proven to work a good bit. Yeah, beam is strong, but there are definite ways to play around it. So if you have any option that ends up going under it to contest them running at you on the ground, it's usually very good. If they're in the air above you, I tend to just try and chicken block it at that point and deal with the follow-up pressure afterwards. But so for like Annie, you have 2 LP to even dealing with people landing on you. You have all of your crouching buttons, for the most part, stay under it. Double 2 HP, I'm pretty sure, ignores the entirety of it and checks a lot of space in front of double. Oftentimes you end up hitting the toes of the Robo, which stops the beam, which means you can't actually get Luger or Clyde confirms. Yeah. Staying under it is quite good. And then, obviously, Fortune has good options to be under it. Also her dash. Just... goes under it. It's not all that important straight. And then again, obviously encourage you to rewatch it so you'll catch it then. Yeah, and then so for you, straight, I think it's also a bit of holding your ground more. Again, a lot of this I think is revolving around your willingness to just up back with an air dash character. It's like, I'll up back, I'll react to what's going on, and then if they're still giving me the space, I'll air dash forward. This buys people a lot of time, and this gives people a lot of space to take. And so it was especially apparent when you had them trapped in the corner on Annie, where you're in range to end up like call an assist. You have Bomber, which is really good at forcing people to land on the ground. So it's like they're in the air and you go, oh, I can't high-low them. But you call your assist when they're going to land on the ground. It drags them into the ground, prevents them from doing much about it. And then you can do 2 medium kick or 6 heavy punch. And then Crescent cancel either of those. Or like obviously you can also do 2 medium punch, 6 heavy punch. You can like do low-high, which is pretty quick. Most of the time it's probably going to get reacted to, but It catches people. It catches me. Just ask Ito. Yeah, pressure them a little bit more. Upbacking just gives them the space to go, okay, I can breathe, I can think out my next move, I have space to take, all that sort of deal. Same is true for Fortune to a lesser extent, but I'm not going to rag on it as much because it's just a general air dasher habit I think you have, and your Fortune's still in the works. I gave you a couple routing tips for Fortune. Or was it saying 2 medium punch? I meant to say 2 medium kick. And I'm saying 2 medium kick because it reaches further. So they're both pretty far reaching options that you don't put yourself as much threat for committing to. Apologies. Wrong button. 2 medium kick. Big ol' Sagan leg. That's a big mistake. Whoops. I got it. I'll be on the mine, I think. Yeah, I think those were my main points for the two of yous. Again, any further questions? Give me a shout. If you want me to look at the sets again with like more in depth, if you think I got a little bit distracted or focused too much on the other person, give me a ping, and probably not get to it tonight, but I'll do it tomorrow. I'll give you another like detailed run through of more things I noticed. That whole deal. Yeah. Talked a little bit. I'll get on to the final match, which should just be Davidix. And I mean, the fortune routing is a small thing that just helps consistency. But it'll end up, I think it ends up helping a lot. It's not learn X like really hard route, it's just doing this will help your confirms a little bit more, and then I also think I told you the universal corner throw confirm. Yeah. So this is an open lobby for Dovahd. If y'all feel comfy fighting them, they're, I think, middle to upper intermediate Peacock. No, please don't do that. I did not want that to play in the background. So, retraining bad habits is hard. The most important thing to do is you need to be actively thinking about that. And because it's a habit, you often tend to try and autopilot and not. And not think about it. And so it needs to be something you are constantly reminding yourself of. And especially when you catch yourself doing it, it's like, alright, stop doing this. And then you're trying to you're trying to think, and when your brain recognizes the situation in which you do that, you need to be able to like have it in the forefront of your mind to tell yourself, no, I want to do a different option. And it's really hard to do and focus on in a game as hectic as SG. What I end up doing to try and break habits, or at least like alter habits, is I'll go into sets with only a couple things, like 1 to 3 habits I'm thinking about trying to either implement into my game plan or change that, like if they're bad habits or if I just want to implement new habits. And I'll just have a list of like, try to use this button more in X scenario. Don't up back after you tech backwards. And so it's just, I have a list there to constantly look at, remind myself, this is what I'm thinking about and working on in this set. Yeah. I mean, your characters do have up backs. Another thing to think about with your characters, Valentine and Robo especially, dabble with neutral jump or up forward a little bit. I mean, just in general, these are good. This is a good defensive layer to add in. But if the pressure isn't going to be meaty, Try and put those in, because your characters have some really good up forwards that are likely to get you away, get you out of some really scrambly, stupid scenarios. I think it doesn't look like we have anyone for the open lobby. So I'm probably going... Yeah, I think I'll rocket myself. Do I play... I'm probably not going to end up playing Soul. Do I play the team I'm still most comfy on, or am I going to play the Fortune team? I'll do one game with the Fortune team and see how it feels, and then I might swap to the others. But, play my best? Okay. Yeah. I'll still be playing Squiggly Point. I'm working on figuring out how to play not Parasol into both Peacock and Robo, but... No, that's not what I want. What? There we go. It'll be harder for me to give you advice as I'm doing it, so I'll probably end up talking more afterwards, but let's see what's up. Beam. Put your assist. I didn't get over that beam. I'm gonna lose it. Whoop! No! Yeah, that should have been a different character. That's on me. Yeah, so this is kind of what happens when you rely on your assist for defense. Calling it that close to the corner is really sketchy. Doing a pretty good job of zoning, especially with the beam. Making it awkward, that's going to vacuum me forward. You're not pressing, good. I get my charge, do you respect it? Is the question. That doesn't work like that, yep. Good 12p, or 12k. I can just raw tag here. There's not much all you can do about it, so just opting into zoning. Still a good decision. Yeah, plenty's fair. I have to be forced to hold all of this at this point. Right, how do you fight your way out of the corner? Oh, very patient against the skeleton. It's a good choice. I should punish that. Really? I'm gonna lose my mind. Yep. Skeleton. Did that way too late. Yeah, it's dangerous flying there, but at the same time, usually you can kind of just go move Horus. So you fetch your way out of the corner, exactly what you need to do. I think I should have finished that with just a jab. Run forward, press the button. Check. Are you gonna fight your way out of this corner? Alright. These heavy kicks are good. Yeah. Time, unfortunate. You're doing a good job zoning and getting yourself out of bad scenarios. I definitely didn't punish you for a couple things I could have if I was a little bit more comfy on my characters, but we'll see what you keep on going. Wait, I didn't have punch charge. No, I thought I already had it. That teleport's a little sketchy. I'm not entirely sure if I can do anything about it. But it feels like I should be able to. That was smarter. But I would not be spending this bar after getting the DP. That doesn't end up doing you much. You were already sending me full screen. Good patience. Item drop. Good job, zoning. PBGC. Why am I dropping this? Oh no! I would keep the Annie in there, because you get the combo afterwards. If you're gonna DHC, I think I would still argue... Can I get my Eager, please? Good defense. Yep. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I really messed that up. Nice. Gonna help. Good beam. Corner. That didn't cross me out. Close up the game. But yeah, I think you're committing to DHing to Robo in situations where you don't really need to. Animix is really strong and she wasn't necessarily gonna die, so just converting off that Singer in the corner I think would be the better choice for momentum and like just in general. Oh, that's... Please? That is really strong. Yeah, you can't really be doing that sort of stuff versus Squiggly with charge. Unfortunately, I'm a bad Squiggly, so... Did not end up really punishing you for it. It's timed. Always keep in mind which of your supers have hit stop and which don't. Yeah, that's what I wanted. There's a situation where I think we do want to just spend all the meter. Go into Beam Super and then once again into the... Good reaction. Okay, do we snap her back in? I think you'd want to be snapping her back in. Yep, there we go. Throw! Unfortunate. What? That... Okay, very nice. Assist. Did not realize how low she was. I should not keep it that better. Really? You're dead. Is what I would say. Down backing. That's not what I input. I can just run away. I got time. So we used to have it earlier to help with EU. The issue with EU is, especially with our new time slot, it's really hard to get you with other EU players. We can try and make it work, especially if you're okay with staying up as late as these events go, but we cannot promise a good connection, and obviously it's harder to give advice if the connection's a bit sketchy, unfortunately. Oh, I was there, I'm sad. Good block. Back into the corner you go. That didn't combo. I don't think it skills. So this is expensive, but Annie is better for mixing, so die. Good blocks. That didn't hit. Good throw. Yeah, I'm trying to... I'm not entirely sure... I can't tell you exactly what is... how I'm getting through your zoning. Besides, I think you're just committing to the same pattern too many times. You're not really mixing it up. I think that's it, but most of this just ends up being intuitive to me. I can't explain. I just see the lines, and I know it's not very helpful. Oh! Yep. I can't contest there, I need to throw there. That was a good item drop. He kept it tight. Kill her. We didn't spend. And now this happens. Mess that up. Oh! How do you play this match? Fair, yeah. You should be fishing for that. I did not pay attention to your meter. We don't have the meter to kill here, do we? Yep. That's fortunate for you. Yeah. I'm really bad at giving advice while I'm playing, so it's like... I'm trying to think of what I did. And so outside of... Yeah. The biggest thing I notice, well, like, immediately, and this is more your choices on hit, because this is when I can really focus on you. Seems like we're not entirely... Or rather, when I get hit, I'm not the most afraid of dying. It's like, whether you're choosing to 2-touch or 3-touch, that's kind of a personal choice preference. I end up 3-touching a lot more. I know a lot of people end up really liking just 2-touch, spend 2 bar, make sure the character's dead if they guess wrong once. But for me, it just felt like sometimes I got hit, and then I just knew I'd be set free to play neutral again. There was no mix, there was no Oki, there was no, like, this combo might end, but I'm stuck in this corner and I need to fight my way out. It was... I'm kind of just, like, cool with getting hit. And, I mean, part of that's also just me being completely fine with my defense. Like, I'm really confident in my defense. But, the other part is you weren't very, your on hit doesn't feel that threatening, and you might be at the point where you kind of want to start thinking about what you're doing with your hits more. And with your team, you have a lot of options. You can choose to just put people in vortexes. Your team has some pretty good ones, and especially some safe ones. You can also just opt to, with Robo and P, especially with an assist that also helps in sending people full screen, just do a full combo, send them, and say, I'm going to continue zoning again. Yeah, there's that. So for neutral, I can't tell you more than I just felt like I could start to see the holes in the zoning, and it's like a very standard P zoning pattern, and then once I figured that out, there wasn't any adjustment afterwards, and so I kept using the same gaps to get through. It's a good standard one, but there is interactivity in P-zoning, and you need to understand that on your side, what you need to change to then change the gaps. So if I autopilot into the wrong zoning pattern, all of a sudden I'm stuck full screen again. There's that. Your defense was solid. I'm trying to think if there were better ways for you to get me off of you. But I'm really bad at paying attention to my own pressure, so I'm really bad at paying attention to how you deal with it. I don't think I caught you with a burst bait once, which is good. Especially if you... I think you've played me enough to know usually patience and being reactive is the key there. You did a really good job blocking the overheads. I didn't end up going for 6 medium punch and go for a low. I did a poor job adapting to that. I don't know if for heavy kick is a true block string. Actually, let me just go to the wiki and find out. Yeah. Because if it's not, you could probably saw me there. You can probably... Yeah, I mean, your other characters have DPs, so you can, like, press there, or do an option that low profile shot if it comes out fast enough. But I will make sure I'm not spreading lies. So, what is it on block? Or how much block stun does it have, rather? 19 frames of block stun. Shot is 15 frames. Never mind. Okay, it's a true block then. Ignore everything I said. Yeah. Push blocking me away, and then playing to deal with what I do afterwards is the important part. Yeah. I can tell you for a fact 5 heavy punch times 2 and L shot is not a true block spring. Times 1 if I'm point blank is. Sweep I'm pretty sure is. I think 5 heavy kick is. I don't know if launcher is. Yeah. And then I think it was also just kind of understanding what options I have to call you out for your things. So you started zoning and you went into a super when I didn't special cancel, so I could DP as Eliza. It's always something you need to keep in the back of your mind for every matchup. Her DP does a lot of work if you don't respect it. Same thing for Squiggly. Obviously, I caught you with some like Sing SBO stuff, and then I dropped it. If I were a better player, if I were a better Squiggly, some of those were happy birthdays, other of them were just me getting in on a team built to shove you in the corner and mix you to death. So, not overcommitting into your opponent's tools is a very important thing to understand, especially as Peacock. Also as Robo. I mean, it's just a general thing in the game, but if you're going to be playing a zoner who it's really easy to autopilot on, you need to work hard to prevent yourself from autopiloting. Otherwise, characters do have ways to check you, and they very much will. I think those were my biggest things. Fullbleed, you were here, so you honestly might have caught more than I did as well, if you have any words of advice. If you have any specific questions, Dovad, I'll gladly answer those. But I think that's everything I have to say off the top of my head. So, zoning pattern thing. You were doing stock standard Peacock. Like, I probably won't be able to do it cleanly, but you're full screen. Oh wait, that's one of that item drop. Which one's item drop? There we go. Okay. So, yeah, it revolves around changing your item drop timings, changing your assist timings, and using different Georges. So, it's like that, and then whenever you end up calling the assist, I don't remember exactly when it was, but I think it's that. Like, it's very strong, it's solid, but all of a sudden if you notice people start finding the gap and they start jumping through things, instead if you do this, they get through the first thing and then you can use George to mess with them. And then because the George is in a different place, you might be able to do like M item, because it's like, oh crap, they're running towards M George, and all of a sudden they realize they have to hold that. They hold that, you run at them with M item. It's all about recognizing, and I'm not a P player, so I cannot tell you exactly what you change will elicit which response. This is a much better question for people who are very comfortable in the character. Or watching, like, try and understand what they do, because honestly some of them might not fully understand what they're doing anymore either. It's habit and it's so ingrained in them. But it's like getting to that next level of P where you change that, or even just changing the order at which you throw out your bombs, even if it's the same pattern. Yeah. It's all that sort of stuff, and again, I wish I could tell you a little bit better, but unfortunately I am not a Peacock player in the slightest. You can also... Peacock has some pretty good instant overheads that I don't really see I think you go for. This... so I think it's this. This might also end up safe jumping, but I think this does. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about P. Because after a while it became, I look for the exact same window every single time. I mean, you know it's the thing. Put it in matches when you feel fit. I would make the argument that the more you try it in matches, the more comfortable it ends up feeling. So, I'd argue for just throwing it out there. That's like, especially if it's not a tournament set, it's you can just go like you can laugh it off if you mess it up. It's like, all right, sure, I'll get it next time, or I'll try it next time. But that sort of deal. Okay, we have, or I've got 30 minutes, honestly, probably less, so I don't think there's enough time to do any advanced testing tonight, unfortunately. We'll try and get those done. You know, we have a little bit of a backlog at this point. Hopefully next Saturday, if not, maybe another time during the week, but fingers crossed. Y'all know the drill. We got our own tournament on Wednesdays 8 p.m. EST. Feel free to stop by. It's a way to test the progress that you've made. For the on-hit stuff, do you have any recommendations how to practice skill sequences? It's... Man. I mean, so... If you want to work on like recognizing the hit confirm into death, you can set the bot to random block and then just try and work off of that. I know most people, what they end up doing is they just set the bot to not block and make sure they don't drop the initial combo. I personally, if I know it kills, I just have the bot set to always blocking, and then I route into the reset, and I just don't care. I just make sure the reset looks good. It's kind of just getting more comfy with the characters, whether it's actively going and labbing more routes, or it's just messing around in more games, and then getting a better understand for the flow of the game and when you're looking to kill. And so it's like, if you compare what I did on hit to what you did on hit, I would almost always be setting up mix middle to slightly below middling undizzy, and then go from there. It's like if I need another hit, I do my front-loaded damage, and I'd go into another mix. If I know it would kill, I would just go all the way into killing. And so it's kind of just like trying to stick on you and maintain my advantage for as much as possible. I personally, I've gotten the majority of it from just playing the game. I am not a big lab person. I know a lot of people who have like tried to lab the third layer after people have blocked their initial mix-up, that sort of deal. So it's like, it depends on what kind of person you are and how much time you want to put in the game and where you want to put that time. So it's very flexible. There's a lot of different roads to get to the same place. Yeah, GG's. Hope it helps. Yeah, on that note, I think I'll continue closing up. Brain just shut off for a second. Yeah, so I already told y'all we got our event. Oh, I forgot the graphic. I gotta grab the graphic. Y'all know the usual. Tomorrow, Hunter's Hustle. I forget the time. I really should learn the time. I apologize, Hunter. Monday, Cheekly Weekly at 8 p.m. Tuesday, no tournaments, just Danison League through the Mixmaster server. Wednesday, us. Thursday, Mixmasters at 8 p.m. EST. Friday is Ronkun, usually at 8:30 EST. I don't know if they're running this week. It's somewhat inconsistent, so just keep your eyes out for tweets or their server. They usually post the bracket sometime in the middle of the week. Saturdays, so tonight, we have CCND's tourney. Those are bi-weekly. There's not a weekly Saturday event. But yeah, that's that usual spiel. I believe I will catch y'all on the other side. Have a good night.
And my spectator.
That's okay.
Oh, nice! Ooh!
Oh, we avoided
Let's go.
it. Nice.
Oh, let me see it.
Hey,
Here's the combo.
you finished this. They
That's
died.
it's somewhat of a combo,
Nice.
yeah.
Hey, they're dead.
We're missing a few more parts
Not
to
bad.
it, but hey,
Yeah.
We got Abomination.
It's like we have some bombos, but like our knowledge of the mechanics of the game are not exactly there just yet.